Welcome back. You thinking about buying a 2025 Winnebago Revel 44E or 44N, but don't know if you can justify the price difference, right? And you're trying to make that decision because you're being frugal or you're looking at your investments. Well, this is the right video for you. The question people are asking themselves is, should you buy the new Revel 2025 or buy a used one with the V6 4x4 option, right? 5 option comes with a 4-cylinder twin turbo engine, 2.0 liter, places between 208 to 211 horsepower with roughly about 332 to 338 pounds of torque. 6-cylinder model on the 4x4 did 188 horsepower with about 320, 325 pounds of torque. New engine produces more horsepower and it produces more torque. Improvement going to be the 9-speed transmission upgrade. Complaint people had on the old model that the gearing just didn't really work out so well. You'd step your foot down and there'd be a slight delay, and any delay when you're driving something that's $200,000 is obviously not welcome, right? This is going to be that the new 2025 is on an all-wheel drive system versus 4x4. This is going to provide you all-wheel drive, meaning that there's always going to be power going to the wheels instead of just rear-wheel drive. So the 4x4 system will work by providing power to the rear-wheel system. And then once you engage 4x4 on either low or either high setting, then it'll engage power to all 4 wheels. But this right here will give you the same feeling that if you've ever driven a Subaru, it's going to provide true all-wheel drive feeling, which just feels a little bit better when you're driving around. Back to the 44N and 44E. So one of the differences you'll notice is that the 44N will come on a 2023 chassis. 44E will come on a 2024 chassis. Winnebago has started to produce their own aluminum wheels, which is included in both the 44NE. Quick view of the running board. On the 44E, which is on my left, you'll notice that they've increased the size of the running board, and it's made out of all aluminum. It's E-dipped in a 10-dip process, and it's significantly lighter. You'll notice the right-hand side is Winnebago's older version. You'll notice that it's a little bit narrower than the one on the left, and you can also see how they've attached it to the frame versus a cleaner look of the 44E. 44N running board on the driver's side versus the 44E passenger side. Very clean. Winnebago is one manufacturer that does a 10-dip process on their metals and don't powder coat. Another upgrade you're going to notice is the 44E on the left has the upgraded rack system on top versus the 44N on the right. So the 44E has 2 11K flood lamps up on top. You can see them right there with the cool Revel badging right on top to just make it look so slick. Whereas the 44N has a standard basic look, which is not a big deal. If you're not planning on going anywhere that requires the additional floodlights, or you want to do it yourself at a later date, you can. Perfect example of something that can be done. And if you're looking for customizations, you can always call me at 213-550-1213 and I'll be happy to help. Back of the roof rack on the 44E, you can see just how much more material there is on the 44E versus the 44N. Another major upgrade they've made is to the ladder system on the left. You'll notice that it's a detachable and movable ladder at the cost of stability versus the right-hand side, which is 44E has a more stable system that's mounted directly into the door jamb. How it's mounted here. So look at the flex on this. You can literally move the entire coach. Whereas on the 44N, see how the door is just moved around and it's not attached to attachment points. Weigh 250 pounds, and if I had to go up to take advantage of that rack on top, I'd prefer the one on the right versus the one to the left. However, if you're lighter and more nimble, the cool thing about this ladder is you can simply detach it, take it off, and see those clips clip throughout the rack up on top. So that's one of the pluses of this ladder system, but muscular build. The one on the right is a bit more stable. Both are gonna come with a 5,000 pound rated hitch. The hitch load is 500 on both with a 7-way plug, which opens up the ability to carry lightweight travel trailers such as this one, about 3,800 pounds. So you could tow this if you need extra room. Do come with the Rolef bug screen on both the rear and to ensure you have a comfortable timeout. Differences that can be seen outside is in the sleep system. So Winnebago has upgraded the sleep system on the 40E, and let me show you the differences. You'll notice that it has more of a teddy bear mattress, very slim, small mattress. That's comfortable, don't get me wrong. Same underlining, the slats, the European style slats, and this is on the 44E. It's using Winnebago's Winsleep System, which is a dual foam memory and additional copper on the inside. But look at the difference in the thickness of the material. Much thicker. It's going to have platform here and a bit more stability here. You'll notice that it's actually on the wood. Another difference is that this will come with thermal guards on the windows. And just to make sure to let you know, this is the Overlander edition thermal guard. To be fair, you could buy these aftermarket and put them on the 44N. And then you'll also notice that there is another thermal guard here that comes all the way down. So when you actually close this up and you run the AC, you're gonna be nice and cool, and you can make sure that your temperature is well kept on the inside while you're sleeping. So you would need someone to actually drill the holes, and I can do that for you. We can do that for you here if you need it. If you want to do this type of upgrade onto your 44N. Another nice upgrade that they've done is they've added a little bit of extra pockets up there. And what they've done is they've moved the USB charging ports, one for this side, one for the other side. Whereas on the 44N, you have all plugs closer out there, and you'd have to run wires to whoever's sleeping here. Not a big deal, but still a difference. And that little seatbelt buckle is to secure the Eurobed when it's up. The cool thing, and this is on both, is the Coleman Mach NDQ. It is Bluetooth enabled, so you can actually control. So you can control it with the RV Climate app. You just download it from the App Store, Coleman Mach. And what you do is when you turn on the system, it'll provide a code there. You can sync it up to your Bluetooth, and then you can control it from your phone, which is, I think, a pretty cool option. Another difference will be the Nautilus management panel. You'll notice that the Nautilus management panel on this is inside. So if water were ever to drip, it would drip into your vehicle. To be fair, this is waterproof. However, I don't believe that this is waterproof. So if you're thinking about buying it, you may consider maybe putting a little bit of silicone there just to cover it. But you'll notice that there is wiring inside. Now, I haven't seen any warranty issues on this per se, but it's something that could happen. So this is a huge improvement, I'd say. And the reason why I say it is because, look, if water were to drip down, where is it dripping onto this plastic, but it's outside of this. So it's dripping here, then drip down, right? So I think that's a pretty nice big upgrade. What do you think? Another noticeable upgrade will be the 44N has 6 D-ring connectors throughout. See that? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Whereas the 44E has an upgraded L-rack system. And instead of 6 little D-rings, now it provides you with 6 L-tracks, which is huge, right? Because think of how precise you can be. Now, instead of Jimmy Johnning everything from one side to the next, you could literally connect something here and wrap it here. You could wrap here something here. So you could keep little things here, or keep a crate on this side or a crate on that side for pets. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this type of system. Another upgrade will be the battery disconnect. So on the 44E, it's a button that you press for 1, 2, 3, and the system is off. Or 1, 2, 3, the system is back on. There you go. That will turn on a fancy light underneath. And it's pretty cool because if you want to take more people with you, You could theoretically lay a sleeping bag here and let someone sleep here with you, or your pets. Whereas on the 44N, it does have lights, right? But now you'll notice it's just the two standard lights on both sides. So you can see the amount of light that's produced between this versus this is pretty massive. Wouldn't you agree? So you're starting to see all the nice little refinements that are found between both, right? You'll notice on this end that there's a lot more plastic on the 44N instead of the 44E. You can just see just the 44E looks just a little bit more refined, right? Looks pretty slick. Another change has been to the exterior table. You control it with the strap versus an additional L track with cable. So all these little things add weight, right? The goal is to reduce weight. So before we go inside, this is the Overland model. Let me show you a non-Overland model. So what do you lose between the non-Overland model versus the Overland model? Well, there's a couple things. You're gonna lose rugged mats that go on the floor for both the cabin and the living area. You're also losing the thermal protections for the windows. So you'll notice that this doesn't have the thermal protection. You'll notice that the seats aren't here, that the interior color is just a standard gray on this specific one. The front doesn't have the upgraded fascia, and you're losing the additional thermal protection of these windows in the back. So you'll notice this basically looks very similar to the 44N. You do still retain the protector for the living space to the bedroom up front, but you do lose that 1, 2, and 3 third thermal protection, along with the rubber mats and the nicer perforated seats on the inside. And if that matters to you, then say something. See, this has already been done, so you can see the difference already. So the Overland edition changes the color of the wood. Looks pretty nice. Check it out, super slick. The mats aren't out right now. They're in the warranty box so that they don't get damaged. But you can already see some upgrades, right? So this right here actually works real well when it's cold, keeps the cold out, but you'll see the nice seats. One of the big upgrades that I like about this is if you decide you have young ones that like to play, mess around with each other in the back, you'll notice that number one biggest safety upgrade is that the buckle is on this side and the buckle is on that side. So you'll notice that the 44N, the buckles are on the same side. So obviously these are pretty different to each other. So it'd be pretty easy to know if you're pushing a button or pushing this button. But I think it's a nice touch between both. But this is the 44N. You'll notice the difference in the seating. It's not an automotive grade seat. It's just a cushion and another cushion. And that's what you got. You don't have the upgraded thermal panels, which, to be fair, you could buy on this one if you needed it, right? Another major change between the 44N and 44E is the 44N has this standard tubular style, old school setup for the table. The table would go up there along with the tube. You do have a little bit of storage down here, some additional storage here. And underneath here, you do have the counter base or countertop extension that attaches here. And that leads me to the change in the 44E. The 44E has a detachable lagoon style table. And the great thing is you regain all the space up here because it has dedicated storage behind here. The other huge plus is these seats can be moved forward and sideways. So if you have a bigger person with you that needs a little bit of extra space, or you're a little claustrophobic, check it out. You got tons of room. Look at the rack system. I trust this way more, right? And then this one right here, you can move it forward and back to give you just a little bit of extra room. What do you think of that upgrade? I think that's a really huge upgrade. Whereas on the 44N, I mean, check it out. I'm sitting down right now, but this is me on the edge of the chair, and then this is how much room is left on the inside. So if you can see, for me, if I really want to sit here comfortably, this is where I'd have to sit, right? Because I'm gonna want a little bit of cushion on the right. I'm gonna want a little bit of cushion on the left. So this is, for someone that weighs 250 pounds, this is the optimal seating arrangement, right? So you got 2 and 3. If you have another person that's going to sit here for an extended ride, I'd have to have my butt dangle, and you can see this is not very comfortable. This will last for a very short ride, but after a while, this isn't going to work for me personally. So if I were invited out on something like this, I would prefer the other seating arrangement. Let me show you why. Once again, this is a comfortable spot with a little bit of cushion on the left, a little bit of cushion on the right, and enough room to put my arm up, right? You can see this is optimal. Let's be fair, right, boys? This is how we'd be riding, the three of us, right? The three stooges, the three amigos. This is how we'd be riding. Whereas on the 44E, the room is much more, the seats, look, this is a much more stable platform. The seat is much more, it's an automotive grade seat. Look, there's space that's completely delineated, right? You can tell whose space is who. And if this person wants a little bit more room, we're fighting for elbow space, right? So you can see, still the same kind of room, right? For me to really be comfortable, I'd be sitting here. You can still see I'm cutting into the seat. Well, Winnebago's engineers listened and they did this. Now check this out. Now, it's not the three amigos, it's the four amigos, right? It's four of us now. Now, this person can sit here completely chill. I can open my legs up. I don't have to worry about me getting hot down there, right? And now you got extra room right here. What do you think is a better seating arrangement, right? Now, these 3-point harnesses are great, especially if you got kids. You have a couple of growing ones. You can put 2 child safety seats here without fear of either them bumping into each other and still having enough room here for safety. If you're finding any value on this video, do me a favor and find a way to contact me. My phone number is down below in the description, or you can hit me up at 213-550-1213. Let's keep going. So they're both going to retain the 3 cubic foot refrigerator. This is a compressor based refrigerator instead of the old school evaporative. So the old school evaporative fridges are cool if you're always going to be between, I don't know, 30 degrees to 75 degrees at all time if you're camping style. But if you're here in California where it gets to 75, 85, 95, 100, Arizona, Nevada, you're going to want a compressor based refrigerator. If no one's explained it to you, I'll show you this type of refrigerator. It's an evaporative refrigerator. You can see there's water here that's leaking because it's hot outside, right? So as the sun hits it, those fins lose cooling. So they work off transfers of energy. The problem with those refrigerators is as it starts getting hot, well, basically there's a little flame. That flame heats up ammonia. That ammonia turns into vapor. That vapor goes up into that back plate that you saw on there, and then it cools down. And as it cools down, it sends the coldness to that plate. And as it does that, it heats up and it drops up down into liquid. The problem with those is if you're not stable or you're not completely level, you're screwed. It's not going to cool down properly. You're going to have rotten food. You're just not going to be happy with its performance. It takes 24 to 72 hours to get to operating temperatures, where these get to operating temperature in 30 minutes to an hour. And the freezing component, you can actually keep ice cubes in here and they actually stay frozen. Your food won't rot in something like this. Huge plus. Another difference you're going to see on the 44N will be the way that they configured the door. So this is the 44N. It provides you with privacy from the bedroom, but the reality is that you're fully exposed going out this way, right? You can see that. Whereas on the 44E, they reconfigured the doors to slide out this way. And then now you have this extra flap right here. So now look at the difference of exposure. Now, if you have friends, family, or anyone in the passenger area, or a little kid that you tell them, hey, can you turn around, but they still look, now you have a little bit more privacy. You do have a mirror here that they've added, and then you're going to have the rest. It's going to be roughly the same. You have a seat that you can turn around, so if you want to angle yourself out this way, you can. Now you have a little bit extra more privacy, especially when you need to air this bad boy out, right? You'll also notice that the latch system is, my bad, it's a compression-based latching system. So this makes sure that no matter what happens, all your gear is secure. Check that out, right? Both options are aluminum and they are E-coated with the same 10-step process. These racks are if you want to attach iPads or tablets, phones, whatever you'd like. Whereas the 44N uses the older version. It's just that little latch. But you can see that if there's rough movement, it has a potential to unlatch, although I haven't seen it. Once again, this is aluminum with a little bit of sand dampening behind it. Walking around, you've probably noticed a little bit of a difference between the control panels, right? See the difference? So you'll notice that the 44N has a Timberline 1.0 system, has a solar charge controller, and a Xantrex 2000 watt inverter controller, versus the 44E that does not have the solar charge controller, and it does not have the Xantrex 2000 watt inverter control panel. Why is that? I believe this is where the benefit of the 44E comes in over the 44N. Let me explain why. Winnebago has introduced their Power Max system with the Ecoflow Powerhub Pro, which is what you're seeing here. So this is a 5-in-1 system. This controls practically everything. So what's included in this is all been R&D'd, researched, and just gone through to make a system that Winnebago has proudly put out in this Revel 44E. So it's a 5-in-1 power management controller that's replacing all the systems that normally require control panels, right, into just one. Okay. So number one, they've upgraded the inverter to a 3600 watt pure sine wave inverter. The 3600 sine wave inverter on the Ecoflow will do, I think, 7,200 surge. It does have a converter charger controller on the inside. So what that does is it's gonna distribute the alternating current and the direct current, shore power. It's gonna charge your batteries and reduces the load from 120 volts to 12 volts. It does have the to DC converter. And what that does is it gives pretty much power to anything that's 12 volts. So for example, that LED light is 12 volt. The fan up above is 12 volt. This control panel is 12 volt. And many other things inside this RV are still 12 volt. But this 44E has a 51 volt system. The 44E also comes with a alternator system, which is roughly 4 to 8 times faster than the standard 12 volt system, okay? This also includes the solar charge controller. Oh, the other thing is the solar panels, right? So the 44E, you can actually upgrade it to roughly about 1,600 watts of solar, whereas the Revel 44N, you can do, I think, 290 extra, so about 490 to 500 watts of solar. And the biggest upgrade on this hub, it includes a BMS, the battery management system. So you could add an additional battery or several batteries, and it's all going to be controlled by an external BMS. It's a huge upgrade. If any of you drive an electric car, which I do, you would understand the difference between charging from a level 1 charger versus a level 2 charger or a level 3 charger. So my car, I get to charge at a Tesla station when I need extra power super quick, and I can charge my batteries within an hour of getting there from 10% all the way to 100%. Whereas on a 12 volt system, so this right here, in under 2 hours, you would charge up the 8,400 watt system. Whereas on the Winnebago 44N, I believe that comes with a 320 amp hour battery. But what they've done is they've done some extra juju on it, and they've been able to increase it to 4,300. Basically, like, they added 25 amp hours to the battery. So it's really not a 320 amp hour battery, it's really 345 amp hours. So if you do the math, it's 345 times 12 volts. You're looking at about a 4,100 amp hour system. So the 44N, if you add an additional battery, which we could do here, you'd be looking at about 82 to 8,600 kilowatt hours of power. Whereas on the 44E, you're looking at 165 amp hour batteries times 51. You're looking at just stock, you're looking at 8,415 kilowatt hours of power. So huge upgrade. Why is that a huge upgrade? Because you could add an additional battery on this and make it 16,800 and charge them in under 4 hours. Whereas you're looking at a charge rate on this 44N to recharge your 320 amp hour battery, it's going to take you 4 to 7 hours. just to charge it on the alternator system. So you'd have to drive roughly 4 to 7 hours on this versus this, which is about an hour and a half. You'd be fully charged up, ready to go. That's a pretty big deal. So if you're truly an off-gridder and you need the extra power and time is money, that's where this comes into play. The 44E is your beast. Why? Because of the charge time. There's no way around this, people. Generators, they're not coming back on these small Class Bs. They're gone. So get used to it. That's what it is. They're all moving to battery operated systems, and that's pretty much where it's going. So you're going to be charging with an additional alternator or sometimes without an additional alternator. I could be wrong. These new changes in administration could bring back the addition of generators, but normally there's not really many diesel generators on the market for Class Bs. So you'd be looking at a propane generator, and that's still not really an upgrade. I would actually argue that that's a downgrade unless you need the extra power. There are some benefits to a generator, don't get me wrong, but on something like this where you're truly off grid, it makes more sense to just drive around an hour and a half, get recharged up, or just idle it. Mercedes Benz does say not to idle for an extended period of time, but if you idle it for 30 minutes on this, you're going to get probably 33% more, 33% battery life, 40% battery life, versus this one, you're going to get 10% battery life. So think of the difference. You could turn this one on for a smidge versus turning this one on for a smidge, and you're consistently going to get more power out of this system than out of the 44N, which if that's a big deal for you, then think about that. I mentioned the Timberline system. So this is the 1.0 system on the 44N. This is just going to be a loop system. It's going to just go around and heat up the cabin, get it all nice and cozy for you. These aren't configured. You can get the element if you want. Timberline will not allow you to only heat the water with just the element. The burner will always use the diesel fuel. It'll always use diesel fuel. So the cool thing about these is that they're extremely fuel efficient. So this is the 2.0 system on the Revel 40E. So these use roughly, the easiest way for me to describe it is like an 8-ounce can of soda. If you ever seen those little baby cans, right, that are really the 8-ounce cans of soda, that's on low, and a 32-ounce Big Gulp from 7-Eleven. Shout out to 7-Eleven, shout out to Coca-Cola. 32-ounce Big Gulp is what you'd be looking at the highest setting. So you're normally going to be in between one or the other when you're using this. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's -1 degree, and you want it super hot in here, you're going to be using 32 ounces. Well, there's 128 ounces in a gallon, so you're looking at a gallon every 4 hours if you have it at the highest, or if you have it at the lowest setting, you're looking at 16 hours for 1 gallon. So that's very reasonable. This does provide you both heating for both the water line and heating for the cabin. Oh, the cool thing about the Timberline 2.0 is that it has actually independent loops for the fresh tank. In addition to heating only, it has zones as well. So you can heat just the front area or just the bedroom area, and it does have a dedicated line for the tanks, which is a pretty huge plus, okay? Nice touch that they did, which you could do on the other one if you'd like. It has a detachable hose sink on the 44E, where the 44N just has a static faucet. And then the 44N, this is where the induction cooktop is stored. Whereas on the 44E, they've removed this here, right? And they've actually given you extra counter space here. So instead of having to pull something out from underneath there, putting it in here, then taking it back out, removing the couch, and then putting it back, you have additional counter space right off the bat. And the induction cooktop is securely stored underneath, which is a pretty nice upgrade and locked in place. Here's a material for the thermal guard. So the cool thing about the Powerhub is just how you can see everything. You can see how much battery you have. So right now, how I have this set up, I'm using 115 watts of power, and I'm at 98%. Right now I'm not charging, so the input is at 0 watts. So as it sits now, if I were to leave this on the way that it is, LED lights, just hanging out, everything's open, right? You'd be looking at approximately 2 days of usage, okay? You can see that right now I'm using roughly about 120 watts, just the way that it sits. I turned on the air conditioning unit. Let's see if it kicks on. But look at what happens when I start turning off lights. Uno, dos, oops, trace, 3, off. It's already gone down to 85 and 80. And look at the difference in time of battery life that you have. Now you're at 3 days. So when it's daytime and you don't need the lights, if you only need light here, well, it's gonna cost you. You can see the difference in daytime running, right? The chassis remains the same. It's gonna come with like adaptive cruise control that's traffic aware, the blind spot assistance, the 360 camera along with the backup camera. And this one does have the optional additional camera on the rear view mirror, which is pretty cool, I'd say. It's gonna have sleepy lane assist. Oh, put it on, check it out. So look at how fast this is charging already, right? Now the input, and look at how long it's gonna take for me to get from 98 back to 100, okay? I'm running, and now it's at 1.75 kilowatt hours. And as you're driving and the revs go up, it's gonna go up even higher, okay? It's a huge plus, huge. Because if you're out on the road, that's gonna be a big deal, okay? You can't really monitor that. Well, you can on the Lithionics battery app, but it's gonna be a completely different experience when you're on the 12-volt system. So I think this is a huge upgrade, and this is one of the bigger reasons to get this version if you can afford it. If you can't, it's not a big deal. The other Revel is still, the 44N is still a killer option. Both of them are killer options. Just this one is gonna be like getting a 2025 electric car with level 3 charging versus one of the old school, you know, with just level 2 charging, that max kilowatt rate of 6 to 7 kilowatt hours per hour, right? Those are different, right? That's the max rate, and that's what it is, and that's fine. But this one right here, if you're planning on being out consistently, this one's gonna charge up way faster. If you found, I'm gonna show you one other thing on a different Revel, but if you found this video informative, or you've learned anything, just one thing, and you're truly planning on buying one, hit me up at 213-550-1213 and let me help you get into one of these bad boys. Also, remember to always close your doors, or you'll kill your battery, your chassis battery. So the suspension is gonna be the same on both. So this is the 44E, the 44N. They're both gonna have the sensors all around. This is what it looks like underneath without any sheathing. They have the cool eyelashes on it. But if you're that extreme guy or gal, then maybe you'd consider buying my all-time high Revel. Check it out. This one comes with the full front and rear suspension upgrade. So check out the full front. Comes with the Bilstein B6 front shocks and the Agile auxiliary front shocks. Now, what the difference is that one controls the movement going up and down, and the other one will control the movement going forward. So if you've ever gone to a complete stop and the front of your vehicle dips forward, this prevents it. Huge upgrade, right? Stability, everything ready to go. You're gonna have the Agile tuned front coil assist with the covers. So the front coils are here. This helps increase the lift of the vehicle. So you'll see this is the lift on the system with the upgrade versus keep getting called up, but this is just some extra if you want to enjoy. And this has, I'll go to the other side, has the Fox 2.5 rear shocks. Look at the difference between these leaf springs and the stock leaf springs. And I'm sorry, but where's that rear shock? Oh, it's right there. You can barely see it, but still works, right? Just showing you some upgrades that you can always do, okay? When you do an upgrade like this and you're lifting it, the drive shaft is going to be moved out of place. So this also comes with the spacer kit along with the shock covers. See the difference? Ready, right? Check this out. It's going to have a skid plate. Going to have the Agile Baja, the 4-inch LED round high beam. Give it with the 11K up on top times 2, that's 22K. And you're looking at these down here, I believe that's another 10 to 11K down here. You're looking at a massive amount of light that's going to be coming off of this. And the great thing is that your Lithionics system on the 44E is going to be able to handle this like a champ. The cool thing about these valve covers are that you can drop the PSI in like in a minute. So if you need to go through some areas that require deflation, you're not going to be sitting here for minutes. Quickly, super quick, you can drop down. Big upgrade. You got the Agile Overlander 17-inch black wheels, along with the BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO3s, not the KO2s. These are great for both off-road and on-road performance. Super quiet, comfortable ride. definitely premium tires on something this sick. Another cool upgrade on this all-time high model is check out what it takes to lift. So I gotta figure this out. So I gotta hold this here. I gotta hold this with my arm. I gotta put this over here. And if I let it go, it's gonna fall on my head. So I gotta hurry up. It's open. That was rough, guys. Whereas you're tired, you just come back from a 5-hour, 10-hour hike. You lift this up and look at that. Oh boy, what's up? Come on, tell me this isn't great. No longer do you have to battle with this hood, man. Look at that, it just stays still, man. That's what I'm talking about. Try that with this one. Also, check out these doors. The wind's blowing. Ha! An upgrade. The days of honey, can you help me open the door, are long gone. Oh, you gotta love the sound. Look at that, one-handed operation. What do you think of that, boys? This has been upgraded with the OWL left door rear spare tire mount and ladder. Check this bad boy out. Nice, nice, very nice. Right, nice and stable. In addition to the B2 carrier by OWL and the mini monster cabinet. Huge upgrade. Listen to this. You wanna store food outside, you wanna store something outside and not let critters mess up your stuff? This is where it's at, boys. Okay, you got the money, you gotta pay to play. Look at that. You can add like visor dock. You can add a visor dock up here. You can attach GoPros, cameras, additional cameras, GPS systems, a lot of cool things. And then an additional upgrade to the Navi dock, stereo components. You can pretty much mount anything to these. Huge upgrades. You got USB, those are USB-Cs, and then a connector there. Here, a 12 volt view to an upgraded Revel. If you guys like this, I'll go ahead and make another one that's a little bit more detailed. But you can see how to tell if it has a double camera. See the two lenses there? So those have two cameras, whereas Revel only has one. All right, boys, hope you learned something today. Hope it made a decision much easier to make. If you're thinking about buying one, once again, you found this video helpful, hit me up at 213-550-1213. Text me, call me, help me feed my family. All right, boys, peace.